Gentleman from North Carolina is recognized for 4 minutes.
Madam Speaker, the fact that we're even debating the substance of this continuing resolution is a telling statement about the priorities of the current House majority. FEMA's Disaster Relief Fund, after all, is operating on fumes. Since late August, the agency has deferred funding for all long-term rebuilding projects in order to have enough resources to meet the most pressing emergency needs. This means that critical rebuilding efforts in over 40 states, Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida, Iowa, North Dakota, Tennessee, Missouri, Alabama, my own state of North Carolina, and others, are on hold. Thousands of people who would currently be earning a good paycheck by working on rebuilding efforts are not. And communities that are still recovering from past disasters are being told to move to the back of the line to make way for those affected by the more recent disasters. Madam Speaker, this Congress has a responsibility to make good on our promise to these communities by ensuring that FEMA has enough resources to respond to all major disasters. Regardless of where and when they occurred, we must not pit one state or one region against the other. The administration has made clear what it will take: a $500 million supplemental appropriations for the remainder of this fiscal year, and an increase of $4.6 billion above its initial request for fiscal year 2012. This CR includes $1 billion in supplemental fiscal 2011 funding and a $2.65 billion down payment toward fiscal 2012. But I'm not satisfied with either the amount or with the price of inclusion. Since 2002, Congress has appropriated $95 billion in supplemental funding for the Disaster Relief Fund and additional disaster funding for the Corps of Engineers. Those are the two accounts we're talking about here. And that has all been designated as an emergency, and none of it offset. Now, at a time when communities up and down the eastern seaboard are still reeling from the aftermath of Hurricane Irene, at a time when millions of Americans are still struggling to find a good job, House Republicans are telling us this time around FEMA won't get any more disaster relief funding for the current year until or unless we take money from another federal agency. This is a radical departure from the way in which both parties have treated emergency disaster relief over the past decade, and it will undermine our economic recovery. The Advanced Technology Vehicle Manufacturing Program, which our Republican colleagues propose to cannibalize, that program stands to add tens of thousands of good-paying jobs in an industry that will be critical to our future economic competitiveness. This is a bad precedent, and it's bad policy. It's no wonder the American people are fed up with Congress. Once again, the majority is putting partisan ideology ahead of the dire needs of the American people by telling our communities they won't get relief until we wage yet another budget battle here in Congress. I urge my colleagues to oppose this approach and instead support the disaster relief measure approved by the Senate, which would fully fund FEMA's needs without requiring yet another fight over spending offsets. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I yield the balance of my time.